Well, let's see if we're all understanding the events of Thursday in the same context. Two people do the same thing. They take documents. One actually has the authority to do so based on the office that he held and based on what the Constitution allows him to do. The other took more documents. His office did not allow him to do that. There is no constitutional protection for what he did. He committed a crime. Yet, the one who technically did not commit a crime because he had the constitutional authority to take those documents and declassify them as the president, he's under major indictment and they're trying to put him in prison because he's mentally competent. The other, who over a period of years as a senator and vice president who had no constitutional authority to take top secret documents, took literally thousands of them, carelessly kept them in places like his garage and unattended closets in empty office space on university campuses. And yet, despite the fact that the Department of Justice in the report said this was a crime, he's not going to be indicted or face any jail time because, quote, he's an elderly man with a bad memory. In other words, he's not going to stand trial for crimes he actually committed because he's mentally incompetent. Are we getting all this the same way?
Let's get ready to rumble! You can't handle the truth.
Hi, I'm Pastor Marty. This is the Afternoon Drive. Thank you so much for watching. Please make sure that you are subscribed to the channel. Once you are, smack the bell, click the word all. That gives you notification of my rants, my ravings, and my undeniably flawless reasonings. Then please like and share this video. That's how we get the word out that we're here. Welcome to the Afternoon Drive. So on Thursday, the Department of Justice handed down its in-depth report from the special counsel investigator regarding Joe Biden taking documents. Now remember, President Donald J. Trump had documents. He had them in a locked, sealed room at Mar-a-Lago with an actual Secret Service security detail standing guard over them so that no one could access them. Joe Biden, on the other hand, they found boxes of these documents in an empty closet, in an empty office for a college teaching position that he never actually held for the University of Pennsylvania. Anybody could have gone in there and helped themselves to whatever was in that closet. They found them in his basement. They found them in the garage in photos right next to where he parked his Corvette. President Donald Trump, as the President of the United States, has the authority to declare any document he wants top secret. If he kept a menu to his favorite Chinese takeout just down the street from the White House, if he kept it in a desk drawer there in the Oval Office and he deemed that menu top secret, then it was top secret. And if he wanted to take a notebook that had all the nuclear codes in it and he said, I certify that this is now declassified information, according to the Constitution, he has the authority to do so. He and he alone, he's the president. Now, we know that every politician, when they leave office, they take all their stuff. Why? Because they're going to give it to ghost writers, etc., and they want to, mythologicalize their existence and, create their legacy to themselves, whether through books or their own personal library, etc., etc., etc. Because after all, some documentarian someday might want to use that stuff, to tell their story up on the big screen. So they're all narcissistic enough they take this stuff. The difference is a president, I don't care whether it's Reagan, Clinton, Obama, Trump, they have the constitutional authority to do that. They're allowed to. A vice president, a senator, does not. And Joe Biden was a senator when he started taking documents home. Big no-no. He was a vice president when he took documents home. Big no-no. And the DOJ has said as such. They've said clearly what he did was a violation of the law. But he's mentally incompetent to stand trial. In other words, he said, not that he shouldn't be prosecuted, but the fear is if they bring this before a jury will be sympathetic and simply see an old man who has a bad memory, and they will feel sorry for him. That was the finding of the DOJ. But apparently Donald Trump, who has the constitutional authority to take those documents, he must stand trial because we don't like him and he's mentally competent. That's the gist of what happened on Thursday. Now let me explain what's really going on here. The powers that be within the Democratic Party have decided that Puppet Joe has got to go. They have had talks. They even sent in Barack Obama to have a chat with Joe that he's got to turn things around or step aside. Joe has become defiant, as people with dementia will do. I lost 2 parents to dementia. It is a heartbreaking, long, and at times painful goodbye, because the person you're talking to and is responding to you is not the person you remember. In my case, parents. And responses I would get and ways they would act were not what I saw when I was a kid, when I was being raised and influenced by them. And it's heartbreaking that this person that you love and want to communicate with is incapable of communicating back with you. Well, people with dementia oftentimes get angry, they lash out, and they act incredibly irrational. Joe Biden, they thought would be a compliant little puppet. They could get their agenda through, which for the most part they are, but he has become a liability. The American people witness for themselves the cognitive decline. They're concerned. It's showing up in all the polls. As polls have cratered, it's obvious now Donald Trump is going to trounce him. And the powers that be and the DNC have decided Joe is a liability. He's got to go. They have tried to talk to him about not running. But again, in that dementia mind, he's rattled. He's fine. This is his. He's waited his whole life to get there, and you people aren't taking it away from me. These are the kind of conversations happening behind closed doors. So, what they've done now is they've sent the signal loud and clear. They're not going to criminally go after him. They're going to give him a pardon for Hunter and all of the Ukraine money laundering that went on. And he and Hunter are going to get to fade away in the sunset. But fade away they are. And so they are going to now remove the protection that he has received from the press. And that became obvious at Thursday night's press conference. It started out he's just going to come out and make a statement that he is mentally competent, and how dare the DOJ say this. And then he took questions from the floor. And it wasn't just Peter Doocy from Faux Pas News, formerly known as Fox News, actually asking a real question. Other reporters started asking real questions, and Biden didn't like it, not one bit.
For months, when you were asked about your age, you would respond with the words, "Watch me." Many American people have been watching, and they have expressed concerns about your age.
That is your judgment. That is your judgment. That is not the judgment of the press.
They express concerns about your mental acuity. They say that you are too old. Mr. President, in December, you told me that you believe there are many other Democrats who could defeat Donald Trump. So why does it have to be you now? What is your answer to that question?
Because I'm the most qualified person in this country to be President of the United States and finish the job I started.
There was the mental decline on full display for everyone to see. What he wanted to say to this reporter was, "This may be how you see me, but this is not how the American people see me." Instead, what he said to her is, "This is how you see me. This is not how the press sees me." Oh yes, this is how the press sees him. Because they have been given the green light now, Joe has got to go. They're letting the rumblings out now about 25th Amendment. In other words, removing him from office because he is mentally or emotionally incompetent to remain. Understand what this DOJ finding, this was dynamite. It said absolutely that he is mentally incapacitated, that he could not stand trial for this because he is mentally unable to properly defend himself. Well, if in the eyes of the law, he's mentally incapable of representing himself and defending himself, then he's mentally incapable of leading the free world, having access to nuclear codes, and being able to make executive decisions that could literally plunge us into World War III. Republicans are talking about 25th Amendment. I personally think that's playing into the Democrats' hands. Let the Democrats, 25th Amendment, their guy. What is it the Democrats keep yelling right now during this Republican primary season? It's a party in chaos, chaos. Nikki Haley's out there repeating the Democratic talking points. It's chaos. Trump is chaos. No. The chaos is on the left. Look at how they've turned this country into a third world toilet. We've got a huge crisis at the southern border. Runaway, out of control inflation. Everything that you're buying right now, from your groceries to your car insurance to your gas, is double what it was when Joe Biden took office. Double. It's unsustainable. He's fronting wars in Ukraine. Israel wants to get involved in Taiwan. Wants to start one apparently with Iran. Because he feels war is his only savior. He keeps the wheels greased of the military-industrial complex, so they'll want to keep him around, and the American people will rally to the war. This guy really doesn't know how to read the room anymore. And so they're the party of actual chaos. And the reason that there's chaos right now in the primary is because Nikki Haley, who got beat by an empty blank on the Nevada ballot, won't go away. She just won't go away. So this is what we're dealing with. And now we've got this president who it is apparent he is not in control of his mental faculties, and his staff has got to be kicking themselves. They actually turned him loose to reporters. Imagine this. They go out there to refute a report that he's mentally incompetent. And then he takes questions and he proves that he's mentally incompetent. He's leaving the room. They ask him a question about what's going on between Israel and Hamas and the atrocities there. And he turns around and he does this.
The hostage negotiation. Look. I'm of the view, as you know, that the conduct of the response in the Gaza Strip, has been over the top. I think that, as you know, initially the president of Mexico, Sisi, did not want to open up the gate to allow humanitarian material to get in. I talked to him. I convinced him to open the gate.
So instead of talking about the president of Egypt, he talks about the president of Mexico, because Mexico is right on the Israeli border. But I know. Saturday Night Live has to do an entire skit that Donald Trump interchanged Nancy Pelosi's name for whoever it was. You get it now? You get it? And they have been told now by the true puppet masters in D.C., stop protecting him. He needs to go. We need to clear the path, and it's going to be for Gavin Newsom. It's not going to be for Michelle Obama. What will be interesting to see is what do they do with Camilla thinks she's a hottie Harris. My guess is it's a backroom confrontation where I am sure they have got things on her that could land her in a jail cell, and they will basically tell her, yeah, you're going to take one for the team. You're going to go out there and you're going to make it abundantly clear to the American people, i.e., black women in this country, that you do not want to be the president, that you are willing to step aside because you believe that Gavin Newsom is the guy, because if you don't, we're going to out you and you're going to jail. Because this is what the Democrats do now. They have weaponized the justice system. Donald Trump obviously feels like, wait, whoa. I'm under indictment for my life for the very things that Joe Biden was just told, because you're old and senile, you're not going to stand trial for it. And he can technically remain as president, as old and senile. President Trump, here's what you need to do over the weekend. Nothing. Don't say anything. Don't tweet about it. Because, see, the Biden administration would love for you to get involved in this so that they can start talking about you. If you stay back, it means all the media attention is on Joe. It's on Joe. Yeah. And they don't want that. So, as Ray Kroc, the not founder but founder of the McDonald's empire, once said, if your competition is on fire, do nothing. Do nothing. Let the Democrats now form the firing squad around their own guy. Republicans, don't 25th Amendment him. Don't push his cabinet to do that. You just stay back and make the Democrats literally, for the world to see, do a hit on their own guy. And even if it is Gavin Newsom, there is plenty we can sink him on. He is an abject failure of a governor. And other than the fact that apparently Bill Maher has a bromance over him, Gavin Newsom's track record is going to speak loud and clear, and I promise you, the vast majority of Americans, including Democrats, don't want America becoming the hellhole sewer that San Francisco and Los Angeles are. That's the legacy of Gavin Newsom. President Trump, you had a good day Thursday. Supreme Court is going to put you back on the ballot in Colorado, and that'll end all these other ballot challenges around the nation. And Joe Biden outed himself to America that he is absolutely mentally unfit to serve. As far as wanting to make the case about the documents, give it a few days, then you can take that case to the American people. By the way, the American people, by and large, are sitting back and they are watching this. And I am hearing people, even on the left, say, well, wait a minute. Biden did the same thing as Trump. And because he's old and crazy, he doesn't have to stand trial. And Trump is going to stand trial because he's competent. And you know what that actually does, President Trump? As P.T. Barnum once said, there's no such thing as bad publicity. By them declaring that you are mentally competent to stand trial, it means you're mentally competent to be president. It takes that argument away that they love to try to make about you at times. So, I said this before, and I will say it again. I'm going to bring the Bible into this. Here we go. Brace yourselves, conservative atheists. The curse causeless shall not come. the very gallows that Haman erected to kill the Jews were used to hang Haman on. God has a way of stepping into these situations, and the very knives that they drew out and tried to throw at you, Mr. President, are now coming back on them. Mr. Biden sowed to the wind, he will now reap the whirlwind.